The purpose of this training is to begin discussing the programming aspects of our jobs. By the end of this presentation, you should be able to answer the following questions. What is programming? What is its purpose? And how do we program within the parameters of our jobs? To create a program, we will be following these simple steps. Step 1, brainstorm and plan. Step 2, submit a proposal. Step 3, advertise. And step 4, evaluate. So let's get started. Step 1, brainstorming. It's important to consider who the target audience is for the program so that we can consider the common issues within that target that should be addressed as a potential theme for the program. The first year experience, or FYE. Students of the FYE cohort often struggle with the following topics: homesickness, alcohol use, transition from high school to college, learning campus resources and traditions, meeting people, learning how to live in a residence hall, making healthy decisions regarding sex and relationships, and academic planning or goal setting. The sophomore year experience, or SYE. Students of the SYE cohort often struggle with the following topics: change in friends due to interests or reevaluating their identity, alcohol use, stress management, goal setting, study abroad, academic planning as they may consider changing their major, increased interest in leadership opportunities, starting to think about internships, roommate issues if they've selected a friend, and health and wellness, being exercise and better eating habits. The upper class experience, or UCE. And lastly, students of the UCE cohort often struggle with the following topics: understanding their role as a future TCNJ alum, career development, interview skills, networking, and resume writing skills, grad school preparation selection, preparing to move off campus, anticipating and planning for life after TCNJ, staying motivated and beating senioritis, and new academic challenges such as a thesis or senior project. Okay, so now that we have considered the potential target audience, let's pick the type of program we'd like to have. There are 3 different types of programs that you'll be responsible for implementing as a CA or an HA. During August training, your RDs and ADs will be reviewing the programming requirements for your specific cohort. So there's active programming, passive programming, and community development activities, or CDAs. So active programs are programs in which both student, staff, and residents are actively involved. They may be but are not limited to any of the following: floor programs, building-wide programs, legacy programs, and area-wide programs. Passive programs are the programs that students are exposed to but do not attend. They may be but are not limited to any of the following: bulletin boards, posters, flyers, emails, and newsletters. And lastly, community development activities are the programs that are used to promote community and building relationships amongst your residents. They may be, but are not limited to any of the following: movie nights, floor dinners, floor challenges, game nights, pancake dinners, attendance at another campus event like a program sponsored by Cub or a sporting event. So now that we know our target audience, as well as the type of program we would like to have, the next thing we need to consider is funding. How much will the program cost? What supplies do we need versus what can be found in the hall office? What will your RD realistically approve? Are there free resources on campus that your program can benefit from? Be realistic, intentional, and ethical when determining program expenses. Many times we have leftover program funding, but that does not mean that we are going to throw hundreds of dollars towards a pizza party without a well-planned educational program to make that money well used. A few tips when considering funding for a program are: Be creative, be ethical, use your resources, use a tax-exempt form, and keep all receipts and turn them into your supervisor for reimbursement. Follow your supervisor's guidelines for when budgets must be in. Typically, budgets are due along with the program proposal at least 2 weeks before the program. If you're going to spend over $100, you must get a cash advance, which will take at least 2 weeks. Think about how your program expenditures link to the educational components of the event. We often are tempted to advertise our events by using food, but many times residents will come for the pizza and either leave in the middle of the program or be inattentive. And if we are doing a program on health and wellness, is pizza something we want to offer? Food can serve a purpose at a program, but you should really be thinking intentionally about whether it should be integrated and how. Having a program on preparing for exams could have a component about power snacks that help you focus and prevent sharp increases and drops in energy. Consider whether you may have residents with dietary needs. If you do, how inclusive are your food selections? Okay, now the last things to consider when brainstorming a program are any possible ways to co-sponsor it. Reaching out to an on-campus resources and organizations is a great way to get helpful and engaging information for your residents. Some possible resources to use are CAPS, OVI, ADEP, Campus Police, RHA, LGP, PRISM, Health Services, VOX, Tutoring Center, NRHH, and other staffs. Now, on to step 2, the proposal. Information about the proposal site will be emailed out by your RD at the beginning of the year. You must fill out and submit the proposal to your RD at least 2 weeks before your program. Some areas may require more notice. This depends on the nature of the program and how involved it is. When completing a proposal, make sure to include the name of the program, time and date, location, and description of the event. Also include the budget proposal, any learning outcomes, and methods of advertising. This is a sample from the program proposal available via Qualtrics. On each proposal, there are multiple types of questions. Some are simple multiple choice, like what sponsors are you seeking, while others are short answer, like what do you wish the students will learn at this event? Time for step 3, advertising. Some simple do's when creating advertisements are: use several types of publicity, time advertising strategically, have materials prepared in advance, put your advertising schedule in your personal calendar, make printing arrangements well ahead of time, anticipate your target audience, use high trafficked areas, and be creative. And some simple don'ts when creating advertisements are: rely on one mode of advertisements, wait until the last minute, advertising too soon, advertise to the wrong people, provide false information, and forgetting to put all the information like who, what, where, when, and why. When creating your advertisements, there are a few different types of advertising to consider: an email to your residents, a Facebook invite, door hangers, door decks, bulletin boards, especially those that include an interactive element that highlights the aspects of the program, posters, and quarter sheet flyers. And lastly, step 4, the evaluation. After your program, you should meet with your programming group and debrief. Discuss what could be changed or improved, what went well, and was the purpose of your program fulfilled. Resident survey. This might be important if you want residents to identify what they liked about the event, what they'd like to see more or less of, and perhaps even what they learned. Submit all your receipts to your RD for reimbursement, and take down any advertisements. Send thank you notes to any co-sponsoring organizations or presenters. And lastly, fill out the program and evaluation. The link for the evaluations will be provided by your RD. The evaluation requires you to determine the strengths and challenges of the event, provide quantitative information such as cost of the event and number of participants, and provide qualitative information as seen on the left. Multiple choice questions will also request you to evaluate the nature of advertising and marketing, engagement of participants, use of resources, timing and accessibility of the program, and effectiveness of the program administration.